But all other books are like 1,000 pages long or something, so you don't have time to.
Well, apparently,
Unless you've been there from the beginning.
oh yeah, I mean yeah, and I don't feel like I don't feel like Stephen King could really trust people to kind of get where he was going at, because I remember one part. I think it was the fifth book, the one with the robot wolves, where one of the characters is like, "Hey, you know what this is just like? Seven Samurai. It's just like Seven Samurai. Isn't it just like Seven Samurai? Yes, this is just like Seven Samurai." Like, oh.
And actually, I think he referenced the whole multiple universes connected thing, even referring back to the Dark Tower in some respects in Black House, which he worked with Peter Straub, which was itself a sequel to a previous book he had done decades ago, and on and on and on. Anyway.
Speaking of Stephen King, and on a slightly different note from The Dark Tower, have any of you seen a recent Stephen King movie called Dolan's Cadillac?
Nope.
I would like to. I haven't seen it yet, but I would like to. But as soon as I saw the poster for Dolan's Cadillac, I thought to myself that the antagonist, who's the guy standing in the foreground on the poster, he looks like an agent from the Matrix. And if you were to look at that poster, you'd agree with me.
Well, a lot of things after the Matrix look like the agents from the Matrix, so...
Yeah, of course, but he looks almost exactly like an agent from the Matrix. Even down to the sunglasses and his kind of stoic expression.
If it wasn't that it was pasted on Christian Slater's face, indeed you're right. Actually, it looks kind of like a cross between Max Headroom and an agent from the Matrix, which makes it hilarious because that would work in a way.
These posters
Neo.
Scene.
My name is Max Headroom, and I'm here to take you down. Max Headroom was the most annoying part of Max Headroom.
Oh, that reminds me, and I think of the people in this chat, I think only possibly Cody, and possibly not even him, will not even you, Cody, will know what I'm talking about. But have any of you, and this is a question to our listeners as well, have any of you heard of a TV show called David Tench Tonight?
I haven't.
You haven't? Okay, I didn't think so. It was actually a short-lived talk show, a celebrity talk show in Australia.
Oh, dear God.
And apparently...
Celebrities in Australia?
No, Gibson.
No, if you Google imaged it, you'd understand what the dear God about. This is horrifying. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, and apparently it was the first talk show to use a computer-generated host, and by that I mean the host was a CGI character animated live by a person with a person whose face was motion captured. But it lasted for longer than I expected. But it still wasn't that funny, like at all.
When you start with just a gimmick like that.
Yeah, and
we
really,
had the virtual Eds. That.
Say again. What did you
The
have?
virtual Ed Sullivan show.
Oh, yeah. And the reason I brought up David Tench Tonight is that the show was, of course, partly inspired by Max Headroom.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
I remember when G4 TV was Tech TV was ZD TV, and they had all these weird computer-generated characters running around between whatever Leo Laporte show was on, and like, okay.
Now,
Crappy CGI characters want to give me computer help? Okay.
Now, by the way, this does somehow bring me back, make me think to a roundtable thing. I'm going to put it out here rather than put it on the forum where it belongs, and say at some point we should try to do a joint review of a new movie through this, like a podcast type thing. You know, all agree somehow to see a movie, and hopefully one that gets released around the world on the same time.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we're going to do it, but it's now on the table, and you guys have heard the idea too. Haha.
So, well, what's coming up that could qualify for something like that? Conan the Barbarian, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Come to think of it, well, if we can find a film that
You've
turns out to be, that turns out to be a really good film by a new director, and this film is actually this really good film is actually his or her first movie. That would actually be perfect for this month's theme.
Well,
if we can
except it wouldn't be forgotten, because if we all saw it, it means it was all in a multiplex. So
yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Dang.
Still, I've reviewed movies that ended up in the theaters that were mostly forgotten.
Oh yeah, forgotten after time, but
yeah, you can't predict it.
Well, at one point, Victor, you reviewed what was it called? Pandorum, I think. And apparently you reviewed it after its DVD release, but when you reviewed it, it only came out in theaters in Australia.
Seriously?
Weirdly enough. Yeah.
I always found it kind of weird how, even though we're in 2011, behind everyone else. Like we are video games that we have new release video games can get up to about $119, and I'm thinking it's not like the Dark Ages when everything was transported by boat.
We have to get around the Bering Strait.
I think Yahtzee brings that up a lot in his zero punctuation videos.
Yeah.
Like the inflated prices and the long waiting times between releases.
And the inevitable, what do you call it, censorship in it.
Yeah.
But I think he calls the high prices the having the nicest beaches tax.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
Well, I never go. I never go outside, so I don't have that.
I go outside very often, but I don't live near to a beach. No, I don't live nearby a beach, so I don't go there very often.
I live by a beach, but you don't necessarily want to go down there.
Why is that?
It is the Great Lakes. Oh,
Oh.
thank you. But that's what you get for living by the Great Lakes, really. Otherwise, they're pretty nice. It never gets warm. The water is always ice cold, but there.
Actually, I remember when I was little, my family and I visited a beach at one point, and we were hoping it would be, well, nicer than what we got, as the beach wasn't so much. Well, it was strewn with rocks, and it wasn't so much sandy, but more muddy. It was actually quite strange. I've never I've never seen a I'm sure there are others like it, of course, but I've never been to one of those kinds of muddy beaches or seen one before or since.
Well, we get a lot of over in Lake Michigan because of the zebra mussel invasion. Is we get a lot of shells all over the beach, which eventually they break down. But in the meantime, you crunch as you walk, and it's kind of disquieting.
Yeah, us too, on the Jersey Shore.
Oh, really?
Jersey Shore.
Yes.
They
I'd
ruined
much rather
an
be known
entire
for The
geographic-
Sopranos, just for the record.
Yeah, Ryan proudly stands without an orange tan.
So. Alright, so what do you guys hope to see in the roundtable? What do you hope the roundtable accomplishes in the long run?
For me, I'd say fun and networking. You know, just getting to meet new people and whatnot, and you know, cross some ideas over.
I think one thing I'd like us to pursue in the round table would be, well, as you said, Victor, you know, sharing ideas. But it would be good if we could have concepts beyond the theme, you know, bridging the reviews for each month of the round table. For instance, you know, I chose the theme for July, alternate history, and I was well, I think I've already asked you this, Victor, but have any of you heard the term? I think it's called John Bar hinge.
Nope.
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
Well, it's basically a very clinical term for a point in divergence, a point of divergence that leads to a different history. I actually forgot to mention that in my forum announcement, but it would have been great if well, and I forgot to use it in my review. But it would have been great if all of us could have used that term in some way. It really since all the films we reviewed, since the plots all emerged from a point of divergence, they all involved John Bar hinges in some way.
Something we could look at in the forum is just look at possibilities for that.
Yeah.
Monthly scavenger hunt thing. I don't know what you'd call it. Some to include.
We could all like.
Oh.
No, never mind.
Well, if you asked me a couple of days ago what we could do with the reviews roundtable, I would have just said I think that we've reached our peak, but here we are doing a podcast. So who knows what we can do after this? Like another podcast, and then another podcast.
There's something I feel we should clear up. Is our group called the Reviewers Roundtable or Roundtable Reviews? I think I've referred to it as both. Which is the proper name?
Huh.
What was that?
I'd say the Roundtable Reviewers, but I also use either interchangeably.
Yep.
I guess
What's the YouTube channel called?
Right, we are the Roundtable Reviewers, but we belong to the Reviewer Roundtable? I don't know.
That works.